Steel City Live, only on Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason, and make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribe if you're not already. And you can watch this later after it uploads. But however, we're back again. And I want to hear, man. Now that you've had a little bit of time here since this morning, since roughly around 7 a.m. this morning, when the George Pickens news being traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a third round pick, basically the pick swap in 2027 really is kind of irrelevant here. It's not anything you're going to even be paying attention to for at least a couple years. So basically, for a third round pick, we're going to be talking about that and how you feel about the possibility of what this means for this football team and what's going to happen moving forward. So, again, we're going to dive into all of that and get back into it here on our evening edition of the show. What's up, JD? Getting in here early. Appreciate you, man. But as everybody starts to filter in here, as we get more and more viewers, make sure, again, you guys hit that like button. It's absolutely free. Some of you could double tap that screen quickly, hit that like button that way, or you could hit three little white dots up in the right-hand corner of your screen. That will bring down a drop-down box for you to be able to hit the like button. So it's easy, fast, free, and it absolutely helps your creators spread the message, man, about our communities here that we tried to build for your entertainment. So, again, hit the like button and we'll dive in here. Again, we are going to talk about the George Pickens trade, what that may mean. Little delay, guys. Let me switch this over. All right, there we go. Sorry, I made sure I put it on private. I'm sorry. Daniel Barry, what's up, man? But I want to know, is this trade that horrible? How do you guys really, truly feel about this trade? Now, again, that you've had some time to let this digest since about roughly 7 a.m. this morning. How do you now feel about this trade? I know a lot of fans went crazy. And again, you have every right to. And I can sympathize with why you went absolutely bonkers over this trade. Because for the first time in a long time, you had the opportunity as a Steelers fan to have an absolute lethal combination at the wide receiver spot. You had a chance to have one of the most dangerous combinations in the entire NFL. The potential was there. But there are things that would have restricted maybe that from happening. So you have to look at the Steelers side of this. And we have to look at the fan side of this. And we have to look at the general position of George Pickens and how we all came to this place to where he was expendable. This place and where the Steelers were comfortable giving away George Pickens for a third-round pick. Again, I'm going to re-emphasize this. I told you a third-round pick was his value. That's what I've been saying, and I think that was kind of spot on with that. Could you have maybe gotten a little bit more? Maybe, in a perfect world. But that's a gamble, and you got to roll the dice, and you got to have a set of cojones to roll those dice, because a lot of things could happen that would have prevented you from ever getting any more value than what you did, than that third-round pick. So there's a lot that goes into this, man. And I want to hear here on tonight's show, this evening's show. We did one this afternoon just as initial gut check. We've been doing content all day. This is my fourth show that I've either been on or have filmed myself. So this has been a busy day. And I want to know a lot of what you guys think here. And we're going to dissect your comments on what your feelings are as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and what you think is going to happen moving forward. And I'll give you my comments according to yours and respond to your comments, rather. So we'll do that here for the majority of this show because I think it's very important for you as a Steeler fan to have your voice heard and what you want to have out there, what your feelings are. So I'm going to try to get to as many of them as humanly possible. Sometimes it gets busy. Sometimes it's a laid-back night. We'll see how quickly it fills up or how fast I can get through all the comments. But again, forgive me if my voice is raspy. This is the fourth show that I've been on, so my voice might be a little bit hoarse. Plus, I have a cold. But I did go get an antibiotic today, not for necessarily the cold, but I had something else going on that I needed an antibiotic. So hopefully that'll knock some of this shit out of me. But I have to remind you guys, hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for, man. Hit that subscribe button and join us here. Jason's not always right, but I'm going to give you my opinion, and I want to hear yours. I'm going to value your opinion too. And if I disagree, I'm going to tell you I disagree because we're all grown-ups here, and we're all going to have differing opinions, and that's the beauty of this. We're going to talk about them. So Super Chat's always wide open if you want your comment instantly read. That's a way to get that done. Also, memberships, 99 cents a month. That's always open, so make sure you get that membership. It's you can find 99 cents probably in most of your couch cushions. So make sure you do that, and we'll dive into the chat here, show you guys some love, and let you guys hear our sound off on what your true feelings are here about this George Pickens trade, and I'll give you my comments and talk accordingly. Duck Plucker, first on the list here, says, do not jump off the bridge. This is going to be a very good thing. It's the Steelers' way, not Pickens or any other player's way. Let's go Steelers. And that's something maybe that we all should really look at it this way. This is a chess match, guys, and Omar Khan has to play chess. He can't play checkers. He can't play Madden. He can't sit here and just because we may feel in our heart of hearts it was a bad move, there may be a deep lying issue somewhere that caused the move first and foremost, and there may be a greater gain somewhere. And I know we've heard it, lip service, we've needed this or that, and we haven't got it. It takes time, and this is only Omar Khan's third season. This is not a very long tenure for Omar Khan, and I don't think he's done a bad job. I feel like this roster is better today than it has been in recent years, even with the subtraction of George Pickens, guys. That's even with that subtraction. I would have loved to saw DK Metcalf and George Pickens. I would have loved it, and I think you guys would have too. But there may be a bigger end game here, and there are free agents out there. Gabe Davis is a guy I keep thinking about through the course of this day, so maybe that's somebody that could come. Keenan Allen, I don't know if he's really into coming on the East Coast to play, so that might be somebody he can cross off, but you never know. Maybe that happens after he looks at the situation and sees maybe what the Steelers have or don't have and maybe makes a decision off of that. But the Steelers aren't done with moves, guys, and we're going to talk about compensatory picks. We're going to talk about draft picks. We're going to talk about the Steelers and the massive amounts of draft capital they have for 2026 and what they could potentially do moving forward here to even fix what they've done here with the George Pickens saga. JD, Steelers may not be done yet. They have someone in mind, I hope. I think they do. Absolutely, JD. I agree, brother. 1,000%. I think that they are going to do something else. Actually, I know they are going to do something else. I'm going to say that with 1,000% certainty. Extra Black, Pickens in 3 years had more fines than AB had, $200K in less time. Wow, I didn't know that. That's a lot of freaking bread there, man. Holy shit. Man, could you imagine being fined that kind of money? I get pissed getting a speeding ticket, man, for $100 or something. I'm pissed. Derpy Entertainment, I'm probably the many of the few fans in favor of the Pickens trade. Hold on, guys. Let me yell at my dog. Shut up, Sadie. Sometimes I left the back door open when I came up, so sometimes they'll see somebody outside while walking by, and they'll bark until Dad says, shut up, because they think they're protecting the house. So sometimes you just got to let them know they're all right. They just see somebody and they want to let you know, like, don't come up in here. You might get eat up by 200 pounds worth of dogs. All right, let me see where we at. Troy, I believe that. Shore Villas, what's up? TD in the house, what's up, man? Jay, Cudson, Pickens and DK was the safety equalizer. They would not be able to cheat one side. That's gone now unless we can replace it. Here's the thing, too. If schematically you're set up, Jay, and I see what you were saying because I thought that was going to be something that the Steelers was going to have a big advantage with. Being able to line two big monsters up on the outside was going to make you really have to respect that Steelers offense in terms of the pass game. And I thought it was going to really loosen some things up in the run game and allow things underneath and in the middle, short to intermediate game to be really, really effective. I thought it was going to open up a lot of things, to be real frank about it in short. But I still think that to be true, that you can still do that because DK Metcalf garners a ton of respect. Calvin Austin, guys, you can't just let him uncovered. You got to respect him in some way. So definitely he's somebody that's going to draw some attention because if not, he'll burn your ass. And that's not hyping Calvin Austin the third up and saying that he is a bona fide number 2 wide receiver because I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you got to show the guy a little respect. He's not a slouch out there in terms of the speed, in terms of his ability to blow the top off a defense. I mean, that's something you have to take into consideration. Also, we'll see what happens with the second-year guy in Roman Wilson. Maybe that's somebody that they have a lot of high hopes for here in 2025 too. But I still think you have to add some people. Maybe an undrafted rookie free agent comes in here and wows them and shines and ends up being in the starting lineup for a lot of the season. Maybe Rock Taylor's the guy that comes and pops onto the scene. There are a lot of roads that could be traveled here, guys, but picking up somebody is something they have to do, they will do, and I don't think it will be long because they cannot afford to allow the free agency market to thin out even more than it already is. Sadie, shut up. God, I don't know what she's barking at, guys. It's making me crazy. Good evening, everyone. What's up, Roberta? Mark Malone. I hope like hell CA3 and Roman step up big time. Me too, man. I think that has to happen. It has to happen. Extra Black, I have to believe Khan will not repeat same thing as last year and wait to find a wide receiver too. I believe this time he will not wait to find a replacement. Well, what really happened, and I agree, I don't think he will wait. I think he can't wait because this wide receiver free agency market right now is thin. If you're talking about guys that could be number 2 type material, guys that could be major contributors throughout the 2025 season. But I think this is different from last year because DK was brought in to be George Pickens' replacement, guys. Now that the trade has been executed, we saw what it was. DK Metcalf was brought in because they had no intentions on paying George Pickens, and they had no intentions on keeping George Pickens. Whatever that reason was that made that happen, we don't know yet. We can all speculate that it was his attitude, which I'm sure that was some of it, no doubt about it. There's tons of things that could have went into that decision, but again, DK in, George out. That was that move. And DK is better than George. That's truth. And people can compare stats over the last season or two, whatever. Go ahead. I've watched a lot of ball. DK Metcalf's better than George Pickens. And there ain't nothing nobody can say about that that's going to sway my opinion there. But I think now Omar Khan understands the urgency because he doesn't want to have a repeat of last year. Whether he has to pick somebody off of the free agency market, utilize the guys that they have, plus the free agency market, and even make some sort of minor trade for somebody. The Steelers have some draft capital that they can that's expendable, guys, because they're not going to trade away or pick 12 guys next year. So you have a 7th, you have two sixths, you have 2 6ths, 2 5ths, 2 4ths, 3 3rds. You could really, honestly, bring probably a bigger name guy in, somebody that's not even on the radar or on the trade targets right now out there in this NFL insider world, somebody that maybe nobody's even paying attention to that could be available with some of these picks. You have 3 third-round picks, guys. Maybe you throw a third. Look, Dallas got somebody the caliber of George Pickens for a third. We're all bad about that. What's saying the Steelers can't go out there, flop that third-round pick for George Pickens, and maybe give away one of the picks of 2027, similar to the trade they did with Dallas, and get yourself somebody that's of a higher name, a higher target. The Steelers aren't done yet, guys. I'm telling you. You cannot believe it if you want, but I'm just saying, sit back, get your popcorn popped, and get ready, because I'm telling you there's another move coming. I don't know what that move may be. And again, we can speculate, but you look at what was charged for George Pickens by the Steelers, and that tells you the Steelers can go out there and find maybe somebody else of similar value. Maybe. or they save that draft capital to use at a later date, which doesn't have to be in the draft, but a later date to pick up maybe some other different position or some different player, and go off of this NFL free agency market. You have Keenan Allen, you have Amari Cooper, you have Gabe Davis, you have Nelson Aguilar, you have DJ Shark, you have Tyler Boyd. Those guys right there, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those 6 guys right there, you could find a guy or two to come in here and contribute off of that. You're talking about a guy from Jacksonville that just got released today that was a $13 million a year guy. That's not a guy that was junk. That's just saying they picked up some young talent. They wanted to get rid of the salary in Jacksonville, and they did so. So maybe the Steelers benefit from Gabe Davis, a guy that was rumored to be surrounding the Steelers when he went to Jacksonville. So maybe that's something that happens. He's only 26 years old, guys. I believe that to be the move. Now, Gabe's a little limited in his route tree. There's some other limitations there. We would dive into it more if they brought him in. But here's my thing. I think that's the move. I think the Steelers go after a guy similar to Gabe Davis. I think Gabe Davis is the guy, actually, that ends up being in the black and gold. All right, let's keep going. Kevin Lynch, I heard Metcalf change his jersey number. Something must have happened behind closed doors. No, yeah. George is gone. He got traded, so the number was available. So he changed it to 14. I said that earlier today, Kevin. I was like, well, now that George is gone, he's definitely going to be 14. So I feel bad for anybody that bought a number 4 DK Metcalf jersey out there because that's not going to happen. Excuse me, guys. I got this deep chest cold, man. Troy, I believe Pickens leaving is not bad for the Steelers. If he wanted to be on the team, his actions would have showed it. Too much on himself, not about the team. And absolutely, Troy, I agree. George Pickens had 3 years to stop acting like an idiot. 3 years. And again, I know he doesn't go out there and get in trouble legally or anything like that, but he causes trouble in a way that it's not wanted on a football team, guys. You don't want disruptions. You don't want a guy that's going half-assed. You don't want a guy that puts himself above all else. You don't want that. You want a guy that, yes, he cares about himself. He wants himself to do well. He tries to succeed. He works hard. But you want a guy that wants to be in the city of Pittsburgh. You want a guy that wants to be all about the football team and is not going to take plays off. Is going to block his ass off down the field. A guy that's going to be instrumental in every portion of the offense, not just the portions of the offense in which they are featured. That's the issue with George Pickens. If you want to put it real bluntly with George Pickens, you can just say that. You want a target. You want a number 2. You want a guy that's going to be a high-value target in your offense to not take plays off and to be instrumental in everything that the offense does, not just what they are involved in personally in terms of getting the football. That's George's real whole problem, guys. He doesn't have the mentality, and a lot of players coming up in today's NFL don't have the mentality of, everything doesn't go your way. Everything isn't about you. And that is partially on my generation and people above me a little bit. When we've babied our kids almost in a way. Maybe even people just a little bit older than me because I don't really have kids that would be NFL age right now. So almost, but not there. But again, we've kind of babied these kids into believing that they're the only thing that matters, man. And hey, we all want our kids to do really well. And especially in today's world, we want to try to give them everything we can. And sometimes that's not necessarily the best thing for them because they don't get to understand that everything isn't about them. And if you look at some of these players and you wonder why there's character issues, is that they've grown up their whole life with parents that say, hey, you're it. You're the best. We give you everything. And that's fine. You love your kids. But then they move into the high school portion of their athletics, and they're the best person on the field by far. So what do the coaches do? They let them get away with murder. Everything's about them. They give them the football a ton. They're highly involved. Why? because they're the best player on the field. So no doubt that's going to happen. Then they move into college. They're still one of the best players out there. In colleges, they're going to feed you, man, because you're probably better than 99% of the people on the football team. But then comes a time where now you come to play with the big boys, where everybody's good, where you're probably not the best player on the field all the time. Chances are you're not. And now you got to work at things. Now, being part of a team is more important than ever before, more important than ever. So now coming to the NFL, it's a very hard transition for them. And that's the problem, guys. And I know everybody wants to overcomplicate it and try to give you 1,000,001 reasons as to why some of these guys are ultra divas. But this is it. That's the real simple nuts and bolts of it. These are babied diva type guys. That's it. And we've made them that way. We've put them on this pedestal. And now when we put them in a position to where they've been drafted to a league in which being part of a team is above all because it means more than ever before in your career as a football player, then they can't do it. And we all ask why. We all wonder why their behavior is the way it is. We all ask ourselves these questions, and the answer is real simple. We've made them that way. Roberta Campbell, I am also one of the few who is fine with the trade. Pickens' attitude and quitting on plays outweighed his talent. I agree the roster is better. I personally wasn't looking for them to play together. I was looking forward to it, Roberta, but I can see exactly what you said. 1,000%. His ability to have that super bad attitude at times wasn't a good ability. And it definitely hindered him inside of that building. All right, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen, man. Doot. That hits that like button, or hit it however you got to on your device. But make sure you're hitting the like button, sharing the show. And also, if you're not subscribed, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Join the community here at Mike Drop Sports. Tons of content that you can go back and watch from today. We did a midday live show. I was on Steelers Almighty, so go over there and support Big B, Brian Hanley, over there at Steelers Almighty. Show him some love, and if you're not subscribed to over there, make sure you do so and tell him I sent you. I'd appreciate that. And also, go and check out our pre-recorded stuff from this morning. So there's tons of content out there that is good content for you guys to consume, so make sure you do so. So we are going to continue to dive in here tonight with your comments. We're going to try to get through as many as possible. I want to know your feelings on the George Pickens trade, and we're going to get your comments, and we're going to read them, and we're going to talk about them. Forgive me if my voice is hoarse, but this is hours worth of talking today here on YouTube. When big things happen, we just had the draft. My voice hasn't recovered from that long weekend. But here we go, man. It's the off season and it's fun. And we are diving in here to Steelers content. So I'm going to keep trying to take some drinks. Daniel Warman, I predict the Steelers are going to be 7-10. 2 of the losses by my Bengals. They just need too many holes filled. I can see why you say it, Daniel, but I got to disagree with it because they don't have a ton of holes. They have holes at very important spots, definitely. I can agree with that. But some places you might not even say they're holes. You can say that there's potential and you just don't know yet. So you can't put your thumb on potential. Potential doesn't outweigh production. You always want to see that production. And we talked about this during the draft, man, throughout all the shows that I was on. We talked about how production outweighs potential. And the Steelers went after guys in this draft that were productive, guys that produced at a high level in Division I college football, guys that coming into the National Football League are going to be able to maybe possibly transition a little bit better because they've already been productive and you're not relying on that potential that you see in them as opposed to actually seeing them perform the task. You're just going, man, they're super freak athletes and the potential's there for them to do stuff. But, we haven't quite seen it just yet. But maybe if we take them here in round 2, maybe that potential will shine through and we'll get the best player possible. That's a gamble. And again, all of them are gambles. All the draft picks are gambles. But the Steelers went after players that, one, wanted to be Pittsburgh Steelers. In their pre draft videos, before the Steelers ever drafted them, you're hearing these guys talking about how they want to go to the city of Pittsburgh. Two, you're drafting guys that put the team above all else, guys that are captains on their football teams, and not because they're the best athlete on the football team, but because they're men that care about the rest. They're guys that want to lead. They're guys that want to rally the troops together to play as a cohesive unit. Those are guys that, when you talk about the Steeler way of a player, the Steelers' DNA of a player, that's what you're looking for, guys. And that's, if you're any football team, that's what you're looking for. So, definitely, I think the Steelers have focused on those things here. Again, production and those Steeler DNA type players. So we'll see how they pan out. But I don't think there's a ton of holes. And I think this roster is better than last year's roster. I think you're going to have trouble with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I know Daniel's a huge Bengals fan. And he comes and talks Steelers. He loves to talk Steelers, Bengals here. And we love Daniel. But again, I disagree with it because I think the Bengals are going to have a really tough time with that defense that they have in place of probably corralling this run game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if there's any type of pass game to speak of, which there should be with a freak of nature like DK Metcalf out there, regardless of George Pickens being here or not, I still feel DK's better than George, and the Steelers were able to beat the Bengals and score a lot of points against them last year with just George, and I think they upgraded with DK. But I think they'll have a tough time controlling the run, and if there's any pass game to speak of, I think that they would be in real trouble. I think the Bengals have a superior offense, no doubt about it, but you got to look at this also, Daniel. The Steelers' defense has gotten better than last year. They've added to the secondary. The defensive front has gotten some monsters, Y.J. Black being my favorite, Derek Harmon being my 1A, one of my top two favorite picks in a long time. Derek Harmon's a real producer, a guy that can really push the pocket, a guy that ranks tops in the Division I college football realm in pass rush rate. And that is something that can't be ignored because he was better than everybody else by not just a little bit, by a lot. And that's going to put some real pressure on that Bengals front, Browns front, Ravens front. And the Steelers, let's be real honest, they play the division really, really well. Actually, they play the Browns and the Ravens super good, and they play the Bengals kind of even since 2020. But the Steelers have owned the Ravens since 2020. They've owned the Browns, and they've always finished very well inside of the division. And they basically went 500 and still with last year's record against them. Since 2020, they've basically went 500 and split the games with the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll see what happens there. But it's not going to be a cakewalk for any team to come in and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, regardless of a George Pickens trade. And that's where I'm getting here with fans today. I think a lot of people are really throwing too much weight onto the George Pickens trade for one reason in particular. The guy did not put up wide receiver one numbers, and the Steelers still won 10 games. The guy was not that type of player. He only had one season with 1,100 yards. Then he had two seasons that one had 900, one had 800. And he only had 12 total touchdowns with his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers over 3 seasons. Does that scream number one wide receiver to you? No. But the potential has always been there with George Pickens because he's a freak athlete. He makes some crazy acrobatic catches. But again, it's potential, not production. It's potential. All right, guys, make sure you're sending all your comments in there. We're going to try to get to as many as possible. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Super chats are wide open. Memberships are 99 cents a month. We're going to be doing a lot with those memberships here as the season goes on. Also, you can get yourself a chance as a Mic Drop Mafia member to win a signed TJ Watt authentic game jersey. So you could get yourself one of those 99-cent memberships and get yourself a chance to get in those drawings. And there's going to be several other ones. There's going to be football cards that are signed. There's going to be other things. Hopefully, we're going to have some T-shirts by this season for Mike Drop Sports. So maybe some of those things will be in there. And get yourself involved here, man. Again, there's going to be giveaways. There's going to be special membership broadcasts. Where you're going to be switching our streaming mode here. Things are just going to continue to look up and up and up here at Mike Drop Sports. So get on the ship, man. We're about to hit 5,000 subscribers. Those people that are in that first 5,000 subscribers, they have a little thing there. It says 5K. That's if you're a member, you get one of the little 5K badges that'll say that you are one of the first 5K. So that's cool too. So you're an OG. But again, guys, things are going to be awesome here. So we're going to continue to dive through the chat. Danny George, I saw a video of Aaron Rodgers saying he was retired today. Anyone else see that? I did not, Danny. So I can't comment on that one. But I did not see that, bud. Oh, that was AI. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say it could be, but I didn't see it. So. Not game worn. I didn't say game worn, you moron. Kill Cow 710. You're a moron, dude. Not game worn. I didn't say it was game worn. I said it was a game jersey. It's called what they wear in the game, moron. Let's keep going. And don't spam my chat with all your dumb stuff. No quarterback, you I do foot. Whatever. People in their dumb English, man. I love it. You got to say this, though, about people like this Kill A Cow 710. You got to say this, guys. They are great entertainment, man. When they type their stupid comments in and they misspell a bunch of words and they use run-on sentences, they say things that don't make sense. You got to admit, it brightens your day, man. Does not. It makes you laugh hysterically. They look like fools. One good thing about the internet is, unless you do what I do and you can actually see me, no one knows who you are, and you can be dumb and act stupid, and no one will ever know it's you. So, that's the thing, man. Yeah, Tom Ford, what's up? Ain't no party like a Diddy party. That's all right. Somebody will donate some, Edward. I would sell you that. I would sell you that jersey for a charity. I'd probably give it to you for a charity, Daniel. But let me try to get another one to give away. I wouldn't want to sell it to you. I'd feel dirty about it, man. I might make you pay the shipping or something. That'd be about it. If it's for a charity, I would definitely do that. You can reach out to me, Daniel. If there is a charity, I'll get something else. Butthole. I like that name. That's funny. But yeah, Daniel, if there is a charity you want me to, I'll donate something regardless to the charity. Some sort of signed memorabilia. I have tons of balls with signatures all over them. I would be happy to give you some sort of memorabilia that's actually worth something. So definitely, if you want to reach out to me, Daniel, MikeDropSports@yahoo.com, you can definitely do that, and I will for sure throw you some stuff, man. I'm always willing to help that. But I'd feel dirty about taking money for it. TD. Oh, wait, sorry. I don't want to skip Albert Wright here. The season was us not looking very promising to me at this point. Not only do we have a similar wide receiver room as last year, but as of now, we have Mason freaking Rudolph as our quarterback run. Mason Rudolph, guys, is not a slug. I'm sorry, and I won't fall into that trap of everybody beating up on Mason because he's not bad. He can win you 10 games. That's just facts. Again, this roster, Albert, is not bad. And I think it's a better roster than it was last year. The only place that it lacks in my eyes is the quarterback room because you got a little bit of what ifs, but I'm not going to fall into the trap and act like Mason Rudolph is dog shit because he's not. And we don't know anything about Will Howard yet, but he's a guy that wants to be in the city of Pittsburgh, a guy that is super intelligent, a guy that has all the intangibles when you talk about height, weight. He does have a good arm. It's not horrible. When people say maybe he lacks in a little bit of arm strength, Guys, he got a way stronger arm than 90% of the people on the planet. Let's just be real about that. The guy can make the throws. And when you look at the Ohio State offense, you ask yourself, what do they do differently? They do some things differently than what the Steelers do, but I think he'll fit right in here in an Arthur Smith zone run type scheme offense, heavy tight end offense. I think he'll fit in. I think he'll fit in well. So we'll see that. We'll see how that happens. But those are the what ifs, and there are some question marks, guys. But if I ask myself about this roster, I'm not going to sit here and say that all of a sudden it becomes horrible just because of the subtraction of a guy that couldn't get over 1,000 yards, that had 12 total touchdowns over 3 years. I don't think that that is a massive subtraction when you added DK Metcalf to your roster, a guy that is better than George Pickens and in the prime of his career and understands that team means more than anything. TD, this season has just started. Let's just see what's in store for the rest of the preseason before we overreact. Absolutely, and you have to. And everybody always wants my, what's your prediction for this? What's the record prediction? What do you think? Guys, you can't do that. Some people can do that. I can give you a guess, and I'll tell you it's a guess, but you got to get to training camp. You got to see these guys up close and personal. You got to see some games. You got to see some practices. You got to start to see who's staying healthy, who's not. That's the only way you can correctly evaluate this thing, man. There's more variables that go into play than just picking a random number out of the top of my head. And again, a lot of fans watch highlights of things. They only see certain little bits and pieces. So, sometimes their opinions are a little bit skewed, and that's okay. Everybody don't got time to dive into it all. But that's why you come to places like this. Let me get a drink, guys, real quick. My voice is about to be shot. I feel like it's about to just stop. I agree, Explorer. We'll see. Let's keep going. Mark Malone, we know DK will block like an MFer, no doubt. This season may ride on Caleb Johnson. Yeah, guys, and that's a really under the radar pick there. I never assumed that Caleb Johnson would be available in round 3, but he was. And the Pittsburgh Steelers were very fortunate to get a guy that will fit into Arthur Smith's zone run scheme. A guy, again, that has a little bit lacking in that lateral movement department for me, but still, I feel like he allows his blocks to develop, allows his blockers to get out in front of him, and he is able to pick and choose his pass, man, and be very, very quick with those decisions. He's able to square those shoulders to the line of scrimmage, and he is able to bust through there and really get up to that second level quickly. So definitely Caleb Johnson is a guy that, in my opinion, could be the bell cow, could be the guy to carry the load. Explorer, whether it's the new running back or DK for the defensive players drafted, there is a theme. Let's get big, strong, and nasty. Yeah, you might be onto something. TD, what's up to Miss Pittsburgh? Albert Wright, speculation is just speculation until the shoe drops and we make some moves. I will feel better if we make some good moves. Right now, our wide receiver room is worse than last year. I don't think so. I don't think so, Albert. I think you're wrong there. I don't know how you can say that the only real subtraction you made was George Pickens being traded to Dallas and you added DK Metcalf. And DK Metcalf is better than George Pickens. So basically you have virtually the exact same wide receiver room. I don't get it, man, because Robert Woods is kind of a lateral move. I think he's better than Van Jefferson, no doubt about it. So I don't see how you're coming up with that they're worse than last year in the wide receiver room. I think it's a better room, no doubt about it. All right, guys, make sure you are hitting that like button. It's absolutely free. Make sure you're sharing the show and subscribing if you're not already. I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Join the community here at Mike Drop Sports. Join our daily conversation. As a fan, talking football, allow your voice to be heard here on the channel. And today's theme is just that, allowing you, the fan, to sign off here or sound off here and give your thoughts inside of the chat and I'm commenting on those thoughts about what you think about the George Pickens trade and what that means for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. Roberta, I don't worry about the wide receiver position. The Steelers find wide receivers. I just worry about your mean quarterbacks. Jay, Gabe's a good run blocker. Robert Road, addition by subtraction. Great trade. Extra black, I think Romeo Dobbs is someone under the radar they could trade for. Possibly, no doubt. Extra black, I'm not excluding anybody from that, and anybody can be under the radar there. And that's what I was saying. Somebody under the radar, they have 3 third-round picks, 2 fourth-round, 2 fifth-round, 2 sixth-round. And you just gave the Dallas Cowboys George Pickens for a third and a pick swap in 2027 in the late round 6th and 7th. So what's saying that the Steelers can't go out and execute a trade when they have an enormous amount of draft capital that they can spend and still have a ton to work with in 2026? Guys, they can make a move, and a move will happen. And I guarantee you Omar Khan has something in the works already, or had something in the works before ever executing this trade, because he understood the situation they were in last year, lacking a true number 2 presence. And when they brought DK in, they thought to themselves, oh, damn, now we got something going. But when you subtract George Pickens, they already had to have the wheels moving here in terms of a move being thought of or being in the works of being made. Jeremy Johnson, nah, I don't think so. Steel 43, I tried to tell y'all it was going to happen. That's from Steel 43. Kevin Lynch, right? Pampered players, the money they make in college don't help. It makes them worse. I totally agree with the NIL thing. Do I think they should get some money? Absolutely. No one should have their image and likeness and all that used for nothing. That's just me. And those college programs bring in a lot of bread. So should they get millions? No. But should they have nice housing? Absolutely. Should they have a vehicle to get back and forth to the facility and class and things? Absolutely. Should they have a couple bucks to spend in their pocket? Absolutely. But should you be able to create generational wealth at the college level? No. I feel like you're taking some of that hunger, some of that fight, and you are creating some of that diva mentality and exemplifying it a little bit more than it already had been. TD, can Dallas trade and sign George Pickens? I don't think so. Best of luck to them. Again, I think it's 27 to 33 million. Maybe he doesn't sign there. This is last year of his deal. They're going to have to sign him, though. If you're trading for him and you're giving up a third-round pick, you better sign him. Giving away a third for a 1-year rental isn't something that I'd be interested in. Not at all, man. Steel 43, and I love the trade for a long run, rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah, it's definitely puts you into that 3 third-round pick category. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I don't know about what Band-Aid it ripped off or anything like that, Steel 43. But, I mean, it could prove to be good and it could prove to be bad. Only time will tell, guys. All right, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button for us, sending us out into the algorithm. We truly appreciate that. Super chats are always open if you want your comment instantly read. That's the way to do that. Also, membership's 99 cents a month. That's a great way to help support the channel. 99 cents a month. Get yourself involved in giveaways. Get yourself signed jerseys, signed memorabilia when we get to those giveaway times. That will be something that's easy to sign up for, 99 cents a month. And there's going to be a ton of stuff that you can get involved with there. Let me try to give some other people some chances here. Challenger 22, what's up, man? Anybody that thinks this was a good trade is smoking crack. If they were going to trade Pickens, they should have done it before the draft, got nothing for him, and now we still don't have a true wide receiver too. I could see why you say that, but I could see why that it's considered a good trade. But I could see why it's not. And I thought that they should have traded him on draft night if they were going to trade him. Or you wait until the deadline and you wait till somebody becomes desperate for a wide receiver. Or you watch his production climb and then you trade him to a contender for a high value pick. That's what I thought they should have did. But maybe they weren't willing to take that gamble. And we're not in that room, Challenger. We're not in those phone calls. We don't know what was offered to them on draft night. Because I told you, they weren't getting anything higher than a third-round pick. I've been telling you this for months. I was telling you this during the regular season when people were bringing this up about trading George Pickens. I told you third round pick was probably as high as you were going to absolutely get. You can go back and watch the content, guys. I said it 100 times. That was no lie. That was his value. That's his real value. So people saying that we got fleeced by the Dallas Cowboys, that's wrong. That's his value. It's a third round pick, guys. Unless you found a team that was in an absolute compromised situation that had to have George Pickens. And then at best, maybe you got a late second round pick for him. At best, that's what you'd have got. Guys, DK Metcalf went for a number 2. George Pickens is not DK Metcalf. He is not. Is the potential there to be really, really good? Absolutely. But what have we talked about? The production isn't there to justify it in any way, shape, or form. Sorry. 12 touchdowns over 3 years are not number 1 wide receiver numbers. Only a 1,100-yard season out of 3 years aren't number 1 wide receiver numbers. That's just not the case. You want to put him up there with the Jamar Chases and stuff? No, he's not. He is not. Is George a good player? Yes. And I don't want anybody to think that I don't think that he's a phenomenal football player and one of the better football players in the National Football League. Please don't believe that I don't think that, because I do. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. But he's dumb and he causes trouble. Guys, when a guy doesn't even understand the word optimistic, there's some trouble there, guys. Just letting you know. But anyway, I could see why Challenger's pissed about it. I could see it. I could see why he thinks that. But he's wrong with saying that they were horrible with it and got fleeced kind of deal is what I'm disagreeing with. But I could see why people were saying it. Tom, trading Pickens was chosen poorly. My Floyd is Pink 79. What's up, Jason? Why do you think we chose to trade GP now? Guys, we're not inside of the building, inside of those meetings. And why I think that they've chose to do it now is because they know what type of disruption George Pickens is. And they know that there's a potential there for him to sabotage year 4. And they know that if he did that they could possibly get absolutely nothing for him at the deadline. They weren't willing to take that gamble. And they wanted to probably pick somebody up that they've already had in mind. And they just wanted rid of the headache. That's maybe why, guys. And again, maybe the Cowboys were the only team interested during the draft, and maybe their best offer was a 4th, and the Steelers weren't willing to take that. But now that the draft is over, maybe they didn't get what they wanted to get inside of the draft. Now their offer became more. It became a 3rd-round pick. So the Steelers said to themselves, that's the compensation comparison we were looking for. What's up, Edward? Daniel, Jason, we did that. Tom Ford, ain't no party like a Diddy party. Armand, what's up? We need to teach the youth how to conjugate a verb. No more dangling by. I agree. Excuse me, Armand. I was starting to cough. I didn't want to cough into the mic as much as I did. But I agree. Yeah, people don't know how to speak in this generation at all. Butthole Diddy party and hopped in. Butthole heard Diddy party and hopped in. Tom Ford says, I heard a rumor from another podcast that the Steelers could get Tyreek Hill for a 3rd-round draft pick. Maybe, Tom. I don't know. That's a possibility, maybe, because you know what? The Dolphins probably want to dump some salaries. They probably want to get off of some of these players because I don't even know how they're fielding the team down there this year. All right, guys. Edward says, I honestly think we're fine with Mason and Will. Not ideal, but I can't see it being much worse than any of these last few years. At least we have a quarterback room that all like each other and wants to work. There you go. That's a good way to think about it. Russ says, what's up, Jason and chat family? Glad we set the example and got rid of lazy Pickens. Getting out of the hospital tomorrow, thank God. Continued prayers for you, Russ, man. Hope you're doing really well, man. Let's get down here and try to answer some comments from people that haven't got a chance. Flip with Yasin. Cowboys got a steal. Steel is not spelled Still, but it is Steal. In case you're wondering, Flip. Just for next time, future reference. Wrong steel. We're not standing still. We're stealing from you. But anyway, neither here nor there. We'll finish the English lessons later. But the Cowboys, do they get that much better? Maybe. Again, you're getting potential, not production. I like Amari Cooper too, but according to many, he has a lot of issues too. Same issues the Steelers had with George Pickens. Flip says also Steelers need a quarterback and tight end that is consistent. You can't blame Pat Freiermuth for the inconsistency. I don't know. I just feel like he was not targeted due to the lack of attention to the middle of the field. Where do the tight ends eat the most? The middle. I just felt like there was no game inside of the middle of the field, man. You either went to George Pickens on the edges or you literally went to your check down on the edges. The middle of the field was virtually non-existent for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had three options really in the past game. Deep, edge to George Pickens on a 50-50 ball, or a check down to the flats. That was kind of where they were, guys, and really they threw the ball nowhere else. Here and there, sometimes they threw it across the middle. And the times that they did emphasize getting the tight end involved and really forcing the football to Pat Freiermuth, he had very high production and actually did really, really well offensively in those games. All right, Sleeping Lady says, I'm sad to see George go. He is very talented, but his overall play was not good and unreliable. Trading him was probably for the best. Who knows what we get for those picks later. Yeah, and here's the thing, Sleeping Lady, and you bring up a really good point here. What will get you kicked up out of the NFL? What gets you out of the National Football League quicker than shit? That is your lack of consistency. What are NFL teams looking for? Consistency. That's what they're looking for in players, man. They want guys that are going to be consistently steady at a position. They cannot afford for guys to just show up here and there. That creates bad records, man. You are looking for a job. You're on the unemployment line if you're not consistent. Consistency is the end-all, be-all for the entire National Football League, for sure. Tom says, I put my Pickens jersey up for sale this morning. Hey, I should too. We got two of them here at the house. You're not going to get anything for them probably because they're the wrong team. Tomlin must go, please. That's from Maurice. Roberta says, I remember you saying that Jason the Steelers actually got a good deal. Yeah, I did say third round. I usually don't brag about things that I say or bring it up. I don't want anybody to think that like I'm conceited in what I'm saying. But I want to really emphasize that, guys, because a lot of people seem really pissed with the value that the Steelers got. I told you that a long time ago, and I don't want anybody to think that it was something crazy because the Steelers only got a third-round pick. No, that was the value, and we told you that was the value. Sometimes you should listen to me. Sometimes you shouldn't, but sometimes you should. Maybe not, man. Maybe not, Edward, for the fourth. I don't know what that was. Nobody knows. Guys, you can hear all the speculations. You can have all the people out there, and I can make up a bunch of shit and say that I have somebody that's an insider. And just by paying attention to the football team. Guys, let me tell you this game. And I can tell you, I'm probably pretty accurate with this. I could pretend to be an insider too. I could pretend to have somebody on the inside feeding me knowledge. I can make it look good. I could guarantee you that. I could pay attention to this football team enough, and I could make my own little speculations about the news surrounding the team, and I could formulate things that make sense, that could potentially happen, and sometimes I would probably hit on them, and sometimes I would probably not. But the ones I would hit on would make me look really good. And I could sit here and lie to you and say that I have some sort of inside knowledge. Now, I won't do that. But I want you to let that sink into you when you have 9,000 so-called insiders out there that claim to have some sort of connection to the Pittsburgh Steelers or any other football team. I want you to let that sink in. How easy it is to manipulate you as a fan. I'm telling you, man. You want to know why I work so hard at this channel? and I don't do the clickbait shit. I don't try to just run my viewers up by saying crazy off the wall things. It's because I think you deserve better. I think you deserve truth and honesty. And everything isn't always flashy. Everything isn't always, all crazy. I just want you to know that. I think you should really soak that in and just realize that. Super chat coming in from our friend, a good friend of the show, Too Evil, Too Hope. Super chat coming in. We appreciate it from Too Evil, Too Hope. Now that Pickens is finally out of the way, Tomlin can finally get his extension for life. Tomlin has proven he had the perfect team. Yes, he is the all-time greatest coach, according to Too Evil, Too Hope. And Too Evil thinks that he should have a absolute lifetime contract, which the crazy part is, I know we joke about it, but I think he has one. But yeah, Tomlin, he knows how to build a roster, baby. I don't think they've done a bad job here, but I always appreciate Too Evil, Too Hope's comments and super chats and his constant support of the channel. I truly, truly appreciate that and very humbled by your support, my friend. Extend Tomlin for life, baby. Let's keep going, man. Roberta says, "Oh, Jason, they are going to tell you Pickens numbers were the quarterback's fault, not Pickens." Not saying it because I know it was his attitude. Yeah, and guys, they'll sugarcoat it. They're not a type of franchise that's gonna air the dirty laundry out there. They try to keep it in house as much as possible. That's just how the Steelers roll. Beach Bum, maybe they know Rodgers said no and building picks for next year. Possibly, man. Possibly. That could be it too. Again, there's a lot of variables that could have come into play here. All right, guys, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for, and you're going to get a flag. If you're not, you deserve a 15-yard flag if you're not subscribed to the channel, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. This is a fun place to be here on Mic Drop Sports. I've been busting my ass for you guys today. 4th show today. But it's been absolutely awesome. I've had a great time talking football. Everywhere, man. It's been great. So it's been a good time, and we're going to get through the chat a little bit more here. Kevin Lynch, I heard a rumor that Rodgers didn't want to play with him. You think there's any truth to that? I always say this, Kevin, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's always some little tidbits of truth maybe sprinkled in. I don't know, but if the Steelers are in that business of catering to Aaron Rodgers to build the roster that he wants, then the Steelers are in trouble. Because Aaron Rodgers has no business having that type of leash, man, especially in the city of Pittsburgh. This isn't the New Jersey Jets to where you come in and you run shit. And if you start to allow players to do that, you open the insane asylum, man. You open the floodgates and you start to create an environment that is something that you don't want and is not conducive to long-term success. The Steelers have had a tried and true plan for many, many years. Sometimes it's very frustrating. Actually, a lot of the times it's very, very frustrating, but they get wins. They're always in the conversation, and they've given you a franchise that has 6 Lombardi trophies and a steady, consistent manner in which they play football. And once you stop those things and you start to let players like Aaron Rodgers come in and make decisions personnel-wise, you start to change that culture. And I think you start to go down a very dark path. Robert Rowe getting a third from me. First team, second guy who was never going to re-sign with the Steelers was a great move. Getting the extra draft pick for next year's draft in Pittsburgh is awesome. And that's another good point by Robert. He was probably not going to sign a contract with the Steelers because the Steelers were probably only willing to offer him $25 to $27 million if they were to ever offer him a contract. That's my opinion. I don't think they would have ever got over the 30 plateau for him. Why? The production wasn't there. The potential's there, but you don't pay for potential. You pay for production. Maurice, no Sanders, lost our best wide receiver. We suck. Why is Sanders the big topic, dude? He's not a fucking franchise quarterback. I love Shador Maurice. I love him. I think he's cool, but he says dumb shit. And he made a mockery of the process. You're not above the process, man. You're not above the shield. You're not above the National Football League, a place in which you were trying to be employed. So, Shador falling is Shador. You shouldn't have went in there and made a mockery of the system. You shouldn't have went in there and brushed shit off that was intellectual portions of the game that people need to know that you can comprehend at the NFL level. They have to know that. And I don't want to hear he played Division I football so he can. Wrong. That's not the case. I don't know whether he can or not. I'm just saying, you don't make a mockery of that stuff. And when you do, and you go to war against the big machine, they're going to put you in your place. And that's exactly what happened to Shador Sanders. Whether it's right or wrong is indifferent. I don't care. He's not a Pittsburgh Steeler. It makes no difference to me. And I think the Steelers were exactly right in not drafting Shador Sanders. I told you it was a smokescreen when Mike Tomlin was talking all these great things about him. The Steelers wanted somebody else to pick him. They did. They weren't going to take him. They never were going to take Shador Sanders. I don't know why some fans are so hell-bent that the Steelers were going to take him. They had 100 chances to take him. They weren't going to take him. They were never going to take him. All right, guys, let's hit that like button up a little bit more here. I'm going to do a couple more comments. Let's go down here. We'll go down past. We're going to have to go down way far here. Boomtown, hello again. Heard an interesting take today that the Steelers are waiting to announce the Rodgers signing until after the schedule comes out to try and minimize the number of games in prime time. Thoughts? I don't think that that's the case, but it could be. I'm not discounting it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So maybe, but I don't know how they would limit the I see why it would, because if Aaron's on the team, they might get a ton of primetime games. Maybe that is the truth. Maybe the Steelers played a ton of primetime games, a ton of back-to-back games, and bad situations like Thursdays into, Sundays and weird shit, man. Their schedule was weird last year. Nah, Tomlin's never made a mistake, too evil, too hope. Boomtown says, as a Jets fan, I promised the New York Jets would be in line to sign Tomlin for life if he ever came available. Awesome. Sorry, Boomtown. I'm not the hugest Mike Tomlin apologist, man. Pittsburgh 412, Steelers Nation trade was the best for both parties. Sticking. Both parties' timing is questionable. Ethan Lamb, how do you feel about drafting a quarterback instead of sticking with who? Sticking with Fields. Fields. Guys wanted too much money. They offered him. He went to the Jets where the Jets overpaid him. Cool. Do you? The Steelers weren't going to overpay for somebody that wasn't a proven commodity. Drafting a quarterback was way better. Bringing Mason Rudolph was way better. Mason can make all the throws. All right, guys, I got to get off here, man. My voice is killing me, but an amazing turnout tonight, as always. I love the participation. I love the super chats. Thank you so much. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to the family here at Mike Drop Sports. We truly appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow. Should be another action-packed day full of content. I do have some things I need to do, so we'll see how much I fit in. But we will be back for sure with a couple shows. So until then, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Mike Drop Sports, and the show Steel City Live. Peace, my friends.